pain and isolation was so severe and strong. It was the most painful, excruciatingly dark period of my life, and I thought my life was over. You know, I think my biggest frustration is that there is so many people out there suffering, not realizing that they can get better.
It was like devastating. Not only I couldn't do all my activities, I could see my personality changing, because I was not a person like that. And it was almost I was losing my identity.
I went from somebody who had all these options, and I was very athletic and very active and did well in school, to feeling like a potato. I mean, like a total vegetable. Like, I felt pretty resilient before, and then to have all of that taken away, it was like, I felt like my body was broken, really.
Initially, I was in shock of the lack of support that I had and how lonely and scared I was dealing with this all on my own.
I didn't know anyone else that had CFS. I felt like I was going through it alone. I had family members who were there for me. I had friends who were there for me. But scientifically, I had no one that actually understood what I was going through. And I think for me as well, you know, being 18, it was scary watching all of your friends living their lives whilst I was essentially fighting for mine.
I couldn't digest food. I could barely walk without collapsing. I spent most of my days in bed or on the couch and had a difficult time to even read or text.
The fatigue, I guess the days when my skin felt like it was made of lead, where I could hardly keep my eyes open, let alone do much.
And the anxiety was exhausting. You know, making a decision, do I go out for dinner with friends on a Saturday night, was exhausting. And by the time I would make the decision, I'd be too tired to do it.
I had the diagnosis for about 3 years, but it started way long before that. Kind of crashed a lot. I went deep when I crashed, analyzing the symptoms, going into catastrophe thinking, all those things, which made the burden even harder.
I was terrified of what was happening to my body, and I was extremely stressed out, and I had very high anxiety.
Essentially everything that I knew had stopped. I lost my job, I couldn't look after my family, I couldn't ride my horse, I couldn't walk my dogs, I couldn't think straight. I just couldn't muster anything. There was just no power for me.
You know, a pivotal moment for me was when I was 16, and I remember I couldn't do much. Like, I couldn't go to school, I couldn't see my friends, I couldn't run, I couldn't surf, I couldn't do anything that I used to be able to do without even thinking about it. And I was walking down the street, and I think it was not long after a doctor's appointment. You know, I had my hoodie on, I was just looking down at the ground and just thinking, my life's over. You know, like, what's the point of all of this? And I'll never be happy. You know, I'll never be happy. And I remember saying to my mum one night when I was just in so much pain, and I was in bed, I think I'd missed months and months of school, hadn't seen friends, and again, I was just deteriorating. My whole muscular system was deteriorating, my immune system was so low, and I was in so much physical pain, and I remember saying to Mum, I don't want to be here anymore. And I started crying, and she just sat with me and cried with me. And that was actually such a special moment because, you know, she didn't have to say anything, but she could feel my pain.
I think understanding, we didn't understand what was happening. There was no support. We didn't even know anyone who had chronic fatigue that we could go and talk to. So we were flying sort of in the dark, trying to do the best that we could, all of us.
Spending a lot of money as well.
Well, you do that. You would do anything. It was a matter of let's try whatever we can try to make this better because he had so much promise.
So according to the CDC, almost 2.5 million Americans are suffering ME/CFS, and in Australia, it's about 250,000. A big problem, and that's just those people who have been identified as having ME/CFS.
And the problem is, some people just kind of think that that's normal. They're just suffering. They think that that's just how it is. And unfortunately, people, even in first world countries, don't have the right practical help and resources to help them move forwards. And that's something that just makes me so angry, because that's the problem that I went through almost 2 decades ago.
Many patients wind up with CFS because of infection. So usually some sort of post-viral issue, usually EBV. Epstein-Barr virus is one of the biggest ones. RRV, CMV, SARS-CoV-2, so COVID and long COVID now are considered ME/CFS, basically. We also see patients with CFS that it manifests after a major life event, whether it's a divorce or an accident, cancer, something drastic, something traumatic. And as you can see, it's a big range as well.
The common symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome are much more than just fatigue. The general population just think it's tiredness. You know, everywhere I go, if I go to a cafe and I meet someone, they say, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And I say, "Oh, we help people with chronic fatigue syndrome get healthy and start living again." And they go, "Oh, isn't that just tiredness? Isn't it just like all in their head?"
So the symptoms are many and they're varied. And this is part of the problem of chronic fatigue syndrome. No two patients look alike. So it's a diagnostic dilemma, really. Some of the symptoms can include neurocognitive issues, so memory, executive functioning, brain fog is a big one, sleep issues, pain syndromes, pain in joints, or perceptions of pain, even though there's nothing there to be perceiving. Fatigue, post-exertional malaise, or just not being able to recover from activity as you should or could. Sleep and not feeling refreshed after sleep is a big one for patients as well. Gut issues, signs that you may have an infection, so lymph nodes that are up, sore throats. As you can see, there are many symptoms.
And everyone's unique. Not everyone has the same subset of symptoms. However, these symptoms can persist for months and months and months, and sometimes even years for people.
People thought that it wasn't a real thing. It was just something that was in people's minds. And then that created more isolation because a lot of Toby's friends didn't understand.
Well, hardly anyone understood. Family, friends. Yeah, and I think because it went on for so long, they just didn't believe it. They just thought, oh, it must be all in his head.
So many people are told that there's nothing you can do, that it's all in your head, that there's nothing wrong with you, that you just need to push yourself, that you just need to sweat it out or be more motivated or think more positively. You know, my biggest hope is that these people are not dismissed, because they literally go home most of the time from their doctor's clinic feeling totally hopeless. You know, they just feel total despair, like there's nothing they can do and that their life is totally over.
So isolating when you can't find anybody that can relate to you, or your family doesn't know what the hell's going on. Your friends are like, what's wrong with you? Different doctors will say different things.
There was one time where my parents, they were like, why aren't you better? And hearing that from your parents who's seen you in this journey was like, no one can relate to me. Like, I felt so alone. And it's a very lonely thing to go through, because you don't really know a lot of people who have been through this. You know, not many people spoke about it, and I really had to dive deep to find people who I could chat to about it. But yeah, that was probably the last point, that feeling of loneliness. The amount of times I'd spiral, like my mind would spiral out of control, because, you know, I'd be thinking, shit, I'm never getting better, and like, what is the point?
Yeah, I think like chronic fatigue syndrome is the most isolating illness that is happening in the world right now. It's the most undiagnosed, unrecognized chronic illness in the world right now through it. And I remember when I went through it, like, it was the most painful, excruciating thing, not only just on a physical level, like neurologically with the actual symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, but there's a second layer to suffering that no one's talking about, and that's the isolation and lack of understanding and awareness in the world.
I'm a pretty positive person and I tried to stay positive, but there were times when, it really got to me. I didn't have anyone to talk to about that, only my husband.
Nobody understood the condition. Doctors were very happy to prescribe medication, antidepressants, but there was no place where we could find a cohesive bunch of tools to help him.
People might have been looking for an answer for decades. Some 6 months, some 10, 20, 30, 40 years we've seen. They've often been going around in circles, not being able to get answers, not being able to even get any direction. And so they feel very stuck, very overwhelmed. There can be sometimes a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, because of course these people are looking for answers of how to get their life back.
There is just millions and millions of families in the world right now suffering on their own when they don't need to be. To just know that you're not the only person experiencing this can be so powerful. My father always says a problem shared is a problem halved, and I'm a believer that awareness is the first key to that. It is my mission to make sure that no one else has to go through this experience alone like I had to 2 decades ago, and to know that they can improve the quality of their life and they can improve the quality of their health and they can start living again.
So the journey would have been long up to this point, I'm sure, and very lonely, but there is hope. There is a lot more money and research going into ME/CFS now, thanks to COVID. There are plenty of support groups and forums and programs to help you, with your symptoms and to get you on a proper journey of recovery. So there's always hope.
What's so special is like when someone for so long, whether it's been a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, they've been told that it's not possible. You can't do anything to get better. You're just going to have to rest for the rest of your life and do nothing. And then they realise that there's this small possibility that maybe they can get better too because they saw a story of someone else who got better. And then they start to believe that, well, maybe it's possible for me too. And they start to do things that help them start to feel better. And there is nothing more gratifying when I see someone who's gone from their head down, not believing it's possible, to literally waking up in the morning and looking forward to the day.
I'm gobsmacked with what Toby's done with his life and how he's taken that experience, that horrible experience that lasted for quite a long time, and that he's been able to help so many other people all over the world, and what he's done just amazes me.
I'm currently in Hawaii on a 4-day conference with some of the most brilliant minds in the world to make a bigger impact. And met this lady called Janet Krabby. She joined the program, I think, maybe 12 months ago. I think she's maybe close to 80 years old. She has such a young heart, and I can't wait to meet her. Just arrived, and let's go and say hi. Got some chocolates. Jan!
You're tall. Come in.
Hello. Give me a hug.
Wow. Oh my God. You were happy and you were stricken.
Nice to meet you. Aloha. Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 86 years old as of June 1st.
86 years young.
86 years young.
Young. Yeah, yes. And husband is 95 and he's learning how to play the ukulele, which is amazing. We've had some lunch. Janice is the oldest, youngest woman in our program, and I was so inspired by her when she joined, because most 84-year-old people, they just give up on life. Big love, she's so inspiring. You almost made me cry just then.
Why?
Because I just feel like you're just amazing.
Hello.
Aloha. We've been conditioned our entire lives to believe that when something goes wrong with our health, the doctor will have the answers. So when chronic fatigue syndrome strikes, we follow the same path. Appointments, tests, prescriptions, specialist after specialist, hoping for clarity and relief. But it doesn't come. Instead, you're handed band-aid solutions that don't fix the actual problem. It just masks it. And it's not your fault. You've been let down by a system that was never built to solve this. While this approach may work for some, from what we've seen and with the thousands of sufferers we've spoken to, this does not create a long-term sustainable solution for the majority of people. Here's the truth. The cure for chronic fatigue syndrome isn't in a pill. It's a process. Over 2 decades, we've learned that it isn't a group of symptoms that you treat, but rather recovery is a rehabilitation process of your brain, your body, and your entire system to undo the damage and to rebuild your health from the ground up. People who are successful in their recoveries are taking a holistic approach. This is the pathway forwards for recovery. As your health goes up, your symptoms go down, and this is where your new life begins.
And so finally to be in a group of a bunch of different people from around the world who actually understand you, know what you've been through and what you're going through, and maybe you might continue to go through a little bit as you get stronger. There was such a sense of relief. I was like, oh, okay, cool. These people understand because they're here.
And people with ME, CFS should have this support and help because we deserve it. It's a cruel illness. Yeah, I'm just so relieved that I've got the support that I need now to get better.
To feel someone is on your team was huge. It's so great to share the journey with someone who's also are in the situation, even if everyone's situation is also very individual.
Now, I went from not being able to walk down the block to now climbing mountains again and hiking long distances. I just last month did a 72-mile hike across the High Sierra Trail, which included 2 14,000-foot peaks.
So it's been about 7 years since I have been kind of completely chronic fatigue free. In that time, I finished university and I started my own business, which I launched about 4 years ago. I'm building a house at the moment and just generally feeling much fitter and healthier.
I wouldn't say that I have chronic fatigue anymore. I had it for a long time, but I don't have it anymore. I can look after my family. I can see my friends. Importantly, I can look after myself.
I feel like a new person. I wake up every day, I'm so thankful for that.
I guess I have a life again. I can join in activities now with family, with friends, and I can plan ahead.
If I stay consistent, it will eventually, after a bit of work, it will improve, and it has improved and it is working. So you just got to stay consistent.
Quite a lot of patience, doesn't it?
Oh, a lot of patience.
It's just kind of so tough just thinking about it again. It's so tough to go through that, but there are so many good learnings out of it once you get to the other side, because you will.
That's what this is all about. Like at the end of the day, but I'm so happy. I've got tears of joy. Like I get so emotional when I think about that, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is that people can start living again.
Oh my gosh, keep going. Don't give up, even when it's tough. Let the day go by, because tomorrow is always a chance for better things. And it works for me.